Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. When Deathworlders saved the galaxy's weakest aliens from destruction. The Theni were dying. Their crystalline bodies, beautiful but fragile, moved with purpose through the grand observatory that crowned their capital city. Chief scientist Nara adjusted her breathing apparatus as she studied the projection. The asteroid was massive, its trajectory unmistakable. "The calculations are certain," she told President Tasso. "Impact in 87 rotations." Tao's translucent form shimmered with distress patterns, and the Council's response. "They declined our request for intervention," Nura's voice was soft. "We are considered non-essential to galactic stability." The Galactic Council had always treated the Tylani as afterthoughts, intelligent but physically weak, evolving on a world with minimal environmental pressures. Their value to interstellar politics was negligible. "There is one option remaining," said Director Hanu, entering with a data crystal. "We found records of a species from a Class 12 death world. They call it Earth." "Class 12, Tiso's body paled further. "Those creatures would kill us by accident." "Perhaps," Hanu acknowledged, "but they might also save us when no one else will." 3 weeks later, Commander Dury led their most advanced ship toward the coordinates of Earth's International Space Station. As they approached, she watched the blue-green world through the view screen. "How can anything survive there?" whispered Navigator Seek. Captain Jin Wu was completing his inspection rounds when the communication system activated without command. "Attention Earth vessel, we come in peace and desperate need. Our world faces extinction." Jin Wu froze. The voice was strange, melodic yet artificial. He tapped his communicator. "Bridge, what's happening?" "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from an unknown craft. It just appeared 500 km off our starboard side." "I'm on my way." When Jin Wu reached the bridge, the crew stared at their screens in shock. A ship like nothing humans had ever built hovered nearby. It gleamed with a pearly sheen that seemed to shift colors as it moved. "Have you responded?" Jin Wu asked. "No, sir," said Communications Officer Hana. "We weren't sure if we should." Jin Wu nodded and pressed the comm button. "This is Captain Jin Wu of the International Space Station Harmony. Please identify yourselves." There was a pause. "I am Commander Dury of the Tylani. We have traveled far to seek your help. May we dock and speak?" Jin Wu looked at his crew. This was beyond any protocol they had. "We need to alert Earth governments." "Already done," said Hana. "They're in emergency sessions, but they've authorized a preliminary meeting. Just you and 2 security officers." 3 hours later, Jin Wu stood in the airlock with security officers Minnow and Sunny. Their hearts pounded as the outer door opened. The creatures that entered were nothing like the aliens of human imagination. They stood about 5 tall, with bodies that seemed made of living crystal. Light passed through them in places, casting rainbow patterns on the station walls. They moved with careful, deliberate steps, as if the station's gravity was difficult for them. 3 Felani entered, wearing thin devices around their necks that glowed softly. The foremost one spoke, its mouth not moving. "Captain Jin Wu, I am Commander Dury. These are Navigator Seek and Science Officer Kyuan. We thank you for receiving us." Jin Wu struggled to keep his composure. "Welcome aboard. This is historic for us." "For us as well," said Dury. "We would not have come except in dire need." They moved to the conference room where the Tylani sat with obvious relief. Khan touched his neck device. "Your gravity is challenging for us. Our world has only 60% of yours." "We can reduce the gravity in this section," offered Jin Wu. "That would be most kind," said Dury. Once the Felani were comfortable, they explained their situation. A massive asteroid was heading for their home world. Their technology could not divert it. The Galactic Council, a collection of advanced species that govern most of the known galaxy, had refused to help. "But why come to us?" asked Jin Wu. "We've barely left our solar system." The Fanny exchanged looks. Dur's body rippled with colored light, an expression Jin Wu couldn't interpret. "Your species is unique," Hun explained. You evolved on what we classify as a Class 12 death world. Death world, you questioned. A planet with extreme environmental challenges. High gravity, atmospheric toxins, dangerous predators, extreme weather, tectonic instability. Most intelligent life evolves in much gentler conditions. Earth is considered extremely dangerous, added Durry. Most species would die quickly there. The fact that you not only survived but thrived marks humans as formidable. Jin Wu understood the unspoken meaning. You're saying we're the tough guys of the galaxy. In physical terms, yes, Kaun said. Your bodies are remarkably dense and strong by galactic standards. You can endure radiation, temperature extremes, and physical trauma that would kill most sentient species. The Council races consider Earth too dangerous to contact officially, said Durry. They believe humans might be too aggressive, too unpredictable. Then why risk coming to us? Suni asked. Dur's crystalline body shifted colors to a deep blue. Because we are desperate. Because we studied your transmissions and saw that despite your strength, humans often choose to protect the weak. This is rare in the galaxy. Jin Wu felt the weight of responsibility settling on him. I'm not authorized to promise Earth's help. Our governments must decide. We understand, said Durry, but time is short. In 83 rotations, what you would call 67 days, our world ends. Over the next week, they met with Earth's leaders via video conference. They shared their knowledge of the galaxy, proving their claims with technology far beyond human capability. Scientists confirmed that the Fanny weren't physically threatening. Their bodies, while beautiful, were fragile. They could be injured by a firm handshake. Their home planet had stable weather, few large predators, and gentle seasonal changes. They had evolved for intelligence rather than strength. Earth was divided. Some nations wanted nothing to do with alien problems. Others saw an opportunity to gain advanced technology. A few simply believed helping was the right thing to do. Jin Wu found himself becoming the unofficial human ambassador to the Tylani. He spent hours with Durry learning about their culture. Your people are so different from mine, Durry told him one day. You move quickly, decide quickly. We are more cautious, more consensus-driven. Yet you made the bold choice to come here, Jin Wu observed. Desperation changes one's perspective. Dur's body flashed with amber light, their equivalent of a sad smile. I volunteered because I have no family. If you had refused us or reacted violently, only I would be lost. Jin Wu was stunned by this admission. You came alone, thinking we might kill you. It was a possibility we had to consider, but I believed the risk worthwhile. This conversation changed everything for Jin Wu. When he addressed the United Nations the next day, he spoke with passion about the Vellani courage and trust, about the opportunity for humanity to prove itself as a species that used its strength to protect rather than dominate. 2 days later, an international coalition announced its decision. Earth would help save the Tylani home world. The United Nations Security Council chamber buzzed with tension. Captain Jin Wu stood before the world's representatives beside the quivering form of Commander Durry. They're telling the truth, Jin Wu insisted. Their planet faces annihilation and they need our help. Why us? Demanded the Chinese delegate. By their own admission, we're classified as dangerous predators by this Galactic Council. Dur's translator conveyed her delicate voice. Because you can survive conditions that would kill us. Because you build things to last. Because when we searched the galaxy for those who might help the forgotten, all evidence pointed to humans. 2 months later, the international expedition launched. 5 ships carrying Earth's best minds and soldiers, bound for Vellani. Jin Wu commanded the flagship protector, with Durry as their guide. On arrival, the humans were shocked by the beauty of the Tylani world, and how its inhabitants struggled with its minimal gravity and mild climate. What seemed paradise to humans was actually challenging for the crystal-like aliens, who had evolved in extremely stable conditions. They're like glass sculptures, commented engineer MJI as they toured the capital. No wonder they feared us. Science officer Taeyong discovered the truth while analyzing the asteroid's composition. This is no natural phenomenon. The trajectory adjustments are deliberate. Someone engineered this extinction event. The culprits were the Vorg Collective, a species that viewed the Tylani home world as prime real estate once its current inhabitants were removed. The 5 Earth ships settled into orbit around the Tylani home world. Below them, the planet shimmered like a jewel. Oceans of pale blue water covered 60% of the surface. The land was mostly flat plains with gentle rolling hills and shades of lavender and gold. "It's beautiful," Jinwoo said as he stood on the observation deck with Dur. "We think so too," the crystalline alien replied, her body sparkled as sunlight passed through it. "Though I understand it may seem boring to humans, no mountains or deserts or ice caps." "Not boring, peaceful," Jinwoo smiled. "A nice change from Earth's chaos." The first human delegation to the surface included Jinwoo, me, Taeyang, and a dozen specialists. They wore light environmental suits, mostly as a precaution against unknown pathogens. The Fanny had provided information showing their atmosphere was breathable for humans, though slightly higher in oxygen. When they stepped out of the shuttle, many of the humans laughed with delight. The gravity was only 60% of Earth's. They felt light, almost bouncy. "This is amazing," said MJI, taking an experimental jump that sent her 3M into the air. "I could get used to this." The Tylani watching them stained both amused and alarmed by the humans' exuberant movements. A delegation of officials approached carefully. Their bodies ranged in color from clear diamond-like transparency to soft blues and pinks. "Welcome to Thyler," said President Tiso. "We are grateful for your willingness to help us." The humans were given a tour of the capital city. The buildings were works of art, towers of crystal and light that seemed to grow from the ground rather than being built. Gardens filled spaces between structures with plants that chimed softly when the gentle breeze touched them. But the humans noticed something strange. The Fanny moved slowly, deliberately. They seemed to struggle with physical tasks the humans found trivial. During a meeting with the Tylani Science Council, Taeyang asked about this. "Your species evolved in stability," he said. "What challenges shaped your development if not environmental pressures?" Chief Scientist Nara's body flashed with colors, their version of thoughtful consideration. "Cognitive challenges, primarily. Our world was gentle, so we competed through intellect. Physical strength was unnecessary. This explains why your technology is so advanced in some areas but underdeveloped in others," Me noted. "You never needed to resist natural forces like we did." "Precisely," said Nara. "We mastered quantum computing before we invented the wheel." While part of the human team worked on cultural exchange, Taeyang led a scientific mission to study the approaching asteroid. They used both human and equipment to analyze its composition and trajectory. After 3 days of work, he called an emergency meeting. "This is no natural phenomenon," he announced, displaying the data. "The trajectory has been adjusted at least 7 times. Someone deliberately aimed this rock at Thyler." The room fell silent, then Jinwoo asked the question everyone was thinking. Who would do this and why? Dur's body dimmed with distress. "We have suspected something like this but had no proof. Now we must consider the Vorg Collective." "Who are they?" asked Jinwoo. "A species from a resource-poor system. They have been denied expansion rights by the Council for centuries. They have expressed interest in our world before." "Interest?" Mi's voice sharpened. "They proposed we relocate and cede filler to them. They claimed their need was greater than ours. The Council refused to adjudicate, saying it was a matter for direct negotiation." Jin Woo's expression hardened. "So they decided to remove you and make it look like a natural disaster." "It would appear so," said President Tu. "After we are gone, they would claim salvage rights to an empty world." The human team spent the next day gathering more evidence. They identified propulsion residue on the asteroid matching VO technology. They traced the object's path back to VORG-controlled space. The case was overwhelming. Jin Woo sent the findings to Earth and requested permission to confront the VO directly. While waiting for a response, he organized a defense meeting with Thailand leaders. Why didn't you develop weapons? Asked Sunny, who had joined the ground team as security chief. We had no need, explained Director Hanu. No predators large enough to threaten us evolved here. The few conflicts in our history were settled through economic means. But the rest of the galaxy isn't so peaceful, Jin Wu pointed out. No, agreed Taaso. We learned this too late. We assumed other species would develop along similar lines, prioritizing intellect over physical strength. When we encountered the council races, we were shocked by their aggression. Yet they're nothing compared to us, said MJI quietly. To humans, I mean. Yes, Dur's body pulsed with soft light. You are what the galaxy calls Deathworlders, species that evolved on planets so dangerous that survival required exceptional strength, speed, and aggression. Such species are rare and usually kept at arm's length by the galactic community. They're afraid of us, Jin Wu realized. With good reason, said Taaso. Your average human could accidentally kill most council species with a handshake. Your bodies evolved to survive radiation, temperature extremes, high gravity, and constant physical threats. You breathe an atmosphere that would be toxic to many species. You can even digest poisons. The humans exchanged looks. They had never thought of themselves as particularly formidable on a cosmic scale. This is why we came to you, Duri said. We needed beings who could physically handle the task of diverting the asteroid, who could innovate under pressure, who would be willing to protect others. And who the VO wouldn't expect, added Jin Wu. They think they're dealing with the Tylani alone. They don't know Earth has entered the game. That evening, permission came from Earth. The human fleet would confront the Vorg, present the evidence, and demand they help divert the asteroid they had launched. As the humans prepared for departure, MJI found Jin Wu on the observation deck. Do you think they'll back down when they see us? She asked. Jin Wu watched the stars. I don't know, but they're about to learn that targeting the weak doesn't mean you're strong. It means you've made a very big mistake. The fleet departed the next morning, leaving a small contingent of humans behind to work with the Tylani on evacuation plans if all else failed. They set course for Vorg space, carrying evidence, determination, and the quiet strength of a species that had conquered a death world. The Deathworlders were rising to the challenge. The galaxy would never be the same. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council towered above them, designed to intimidate. Jin Wu stood with Duri before the assembled representatives of 15 dominant species. We request assistance in defense of the Fanny people, Jin Wu stated firmly. High Counselor Mogg's tentacles rippled with what humans now recognized as amusement. The fate of evolutionary dead ends is not our concern. Dead ends? Jin Wu's voice hardened. They built a civilization of peace and learning while developing technology your species purchased from them. The Tylani serve no essential galactic function, stated Counselor Vex. Their resources will be better utilized by productive species after natural selection takes its course. Natural selection? Taeyang stepped forward, displaying evidence on his device. This asteroid was launched from Vorg space with Council approval codes. The chamber erupted in hisses and rumbles, not denial, indignation at being exposed. Later, aboard their ship, Jin Wu discovered sabotage attempts on their engines. They never intended to let us leave with this knowledge, he told his crew. We're as expendable to them as the Tylani. Then what do we do? Asked MJI. Jin Wu's expression hardened. We do what humans have always done when faced with bullies. We fight back. The Protector hung in space near the massive Galactic Council station. Jin Wu paced the bridge, his face tight with anger. The meeting had gone worse than any of them had expected. I still can't believe what they said, MJI whispered. They're just going to let an entire species die. Dur's crystalline body had dimmed to a pale blue, a sign of deep distress. I knew the Council viewed us as unimportant, but I never imagined they had approved our extinction. Taeyang was still examining his data pad. The approval codes are genuine. The Council didn't just look the other way, they actively supported the VORG plan. Jin Wu stopped packing. Why would they do this? What do they gain? Security Chief Suni entered the bridge, her expression grim. "Captain, I found something you need to see." She led them to engineering, where a small device had been attached to the main power coupling. It was not human technology. "It's a remote detonator," she explained. "It would have destroyed our engine core once we were away from the station." "When was it placed there?" asked Jin Woo. "During our docking procedure. The maintenance crew they sent aboard, it had to be them." Jin Woo's face darkened further. "They meant to kill us all along, they just wanted us off the station first." Dur's body flickered with alarm patterns. If they would destroy a ship of previously unknown aliens, they truly fear what humans might become in galactic politics. "We need to contact Earth immediately," said Jin Woo, "and warn the other human ships." But when they tried to send messages, they discovered all communications were being blocked. The council station had activated a dampening field. "They're isolating us," said Communications Officer Yuna. "No signals in or out." Jin Woo gathered his senior crew in the conference room. The situation was dire. They were cut off from Earth, facing hostile aliens with far superior technology, and had just accused the galaxy's ruling body of conspiracy to commit genocide. "We have 4 options," Jin Woo explained. "First, we apologize, pretend we made a mistake, and try to leave peacefully." "They'll still destroy us once we're away from the station," Suni pointed out. "Second, we try to fight our way out, but their weapons are far more advanced than ours." "Suicide," Taeyang said flatly. "Third, we stay docked and refuse to leave, creating a diplomatic standoff." "Which they would eventually resolve by force," said Mi. "Fourth," Jin Woo concluded, "we use what they don't expect, human ingenuity." They spent the next hour developing a plan. The Fanny had shared some of their technology with the humans. While not as advanced as the council races, it gave them options. "Will this actually work?" Mi asked as they finalized the details. "It has to," Jin Woo replied simply. While most of the crew prepared, Jin Woo invited a council delegation aboard, ostensibly to apologize for his accusations. 3 representatives arrived, a Vorg, an Amrechi, and a Suli. All looked down on the humans with obvious contempt. "We accept your invitation," said the Vorg representative, a tall insectoid being named Kra. "You wish to recant your false claims." "Not exactly," said Jin Woo. "I wanted you to explain something to me. Why are the Tylani considered worthless when they've contributed so much knowledge to the galaxy?" The MTI diplomat, a 6-limbed reptilian named Fesic, made a dismissive gesture. "Their contributions are trivial, abstract theory without practical application." "Yet you use their quantum communication technology," Jin Woo pointed out. "Adapted and improved by proper species," said Kra. "The felony are weak. They cannot defend themselves. In the natural order, such species make way for the strong." "Is that what you tell yourselves?" Jin Woo asked quietly. "That this is natural selection, not murder?" The Suli diplomat, a gaseous being contained in a floating orb named San, pulsed with yellow light. "You do not understand galactic realities, human. Resources are finite, species compete. The Falani homeworld will be put to better use by the Vorg." "And what about Earth?" asked Jin Woo. "Are we too weak as well?" The 3 diplomats exchanged looks. Kra's mandibles clicked. "Earth is problematic. You evolved in conditions that should have killed you. You are aberrations." "Dangerous aberrations," added Fesic. "Deathworlders rarely integrate well into galactic society." Jin Woo nodded as if considering this. "I see. So we're too weak to matter like the Phylani, but also too strong to be trusted. Convenient logic." While this conversation continued, Suni and her team were executing their plan. Using Tylani technology, they created a virus to infiltrate the Council's communications network. When activated, it would broadcast evidence of the Council's involvement in the Tylani extinction plan to every species in the galaxy. Taeyang and Mi, meanwhile, were modifying the ship's sensor array to punch through the communication blackout. They needed just 10 seconds to transmit their message to the other human vessels. "Your species is young," San was saying. In time, you might earn a place in the galactic community, but that requires accepting the natural order. And who decided this natural order? Asked Jinwoo. Who gave you the right to decide which species lives or dies? Kra rose to his full height, towering over Jinwoo. We have the power, that is all the right we need. Jinwoo smiled grimly. That's what I needed to hear. He tapped his communicator. Now. Throughout the ship, systems activated. The modified sensors blasted through the dampening field for precisely 12 seconds, long enough to send their emergency signal. Simultaneously, Thene virus entered the Council's network. Alarms blared across the station. The diplomats received urgent messages on their devices. What have you done? Demanded Kra. Leveled the playing field, Jinwoo replied. Every species in the galaxy now knows what you planned for the Tylani and for us. Fesic hissed in fury. You cannot prove. We have your approval codes, we have the trajectory analysis. And now, Jinwoo held up a data crystal, we have your confession. The meeting had been recorded. The diplomat's own words condemned them. You will regret this, San pulsed angry red. The Council will not tolerate such defiance. Maybe not, said Jinwoo, but neither will Earth tolerate the planned murder of our friends. The diplomats left in rage. Minutes later, the other human ships broke formation and took positions around the Protector. They had received the message and understood the danger. Captain, said Yauna from communications, we're getting signals from all over the sector. The virus worked. Dozens of species are demanding explanations from the Council. And Earth? Asked Jinwoo. They received our full report. They're mobilizing the rest of the fleet, and they're contacting every independent world in this sector. Yuri, who had been quiet during these events, now approached Jinwoo. Her crystalline body glowed with